Hello, hello, and welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. I may forget to say it, but please don't forget to press like. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Oh, I'm excited. Yes, I'm still excited. We have some good things going on, good things coming. And I'm just so glad. I'm just so glad to be here. I'm just so glad to be here before you, making our world go better, because we could talk about all the things that's going on, but America won't get better until America gets better. What does that mean, Vivacious? Come back and find out in a moment. We are talking tonight about understanding your why. You must know your why. See you in a moment. Call a friend. See you in a moment. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious, a freedom ride where we the people gather to build ourselves, our family, our community, and our nation. For the sound of America for Progress has reached critical mass. Understanding that we must put aside our differences to focus on the greater good. This is a place of collaboration to rebuild and restore our nation. Welcome to A Moment with Vivacious. Hi y'all, how you doing? Again, I'm so glad we're here together, my people. Hey, I had a great lunch meeting today with my friend Monica, and I just want to thank her so much for spending a part of her life with me. Also, look, if you have something you want to talk about, I need you to call us. I know I've been busy. I've been working hard, moving us forward, because our life is not going to get better. Our nation is not going to get better. America can't be better. And if it was ever great, it can't be great again until America gets better. And that means the people have to get better. We have to be a better people. Right now, when we talk about the topics, we can blame that on somebody. We can blame it on the president. We can blame it on the mayor. We can judge everybody along the way. But each and every one of us, first of all, to make our world better, we have to make us better. And I understand that we don't want to hear that we have to be better. I've been in this field doing videos and television for more than 10 years, okay? But every opportunity I get, I go to a meeting to learn something. So I'm a part of the Women in Film and Television in Atlanta. And we had a conference teaching us different things. And I learned so much that people, so many things, people are looking at me like this when they're telling me, well, look, when you take a picture, you do this, do that, do this. Guess what? My videos are much better now. And because I went out to the CDC on Saturday after to practice all the new stuff I learned while I was there with people. I surrounded myself Saturday morning. It was a hard push because I was going through a little something, but that's okay. Sometimes, or all the time, do we push through the pain of the process. We have to live that vivacious name. And I had Black people are chosen Israelites of God. That person says, good evening and blessings to you. Barbara Dozier say, hi, my friend. Good evening. Hi, Barbara. I'm glad you're here. I have some great things to tell you about my meeting today. And hello, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, so I'm going to say Black people are chosen Israelites of God. And so I want to say hi to you and thank you for joining in. And just to let everybody know, Ezekiel, hi Ezekiel, how are you? And I'm so glad that you joined us today. And I want everybody to know what I'm saying here so you can be telling your friends, for I'll have the special date you'll see come up, Barbara Dozier. Because anytime anything happens in the nation, everybody always say, thank you. Everybody always say, oh, just pray. What does that mean? Anytime you're going through anything, people say, oh, pray. You go to church and you tell them, oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. The help is, oh, pray. So Barbara's going to come and she's going to talk to us about prayer and being effective prayer. Barbara, Ezekiel says hello to you. And so we want to talk about today why. Sometimes in life, a lot of Auntie's Winning Wisdom says, good evening. Good evening, Auntie. Sometimes in life, not sometimes, all the time in life, we go through the consequences of our decisions. And I believe that these days, in these generations that has come, not that we didn't go through any in our generation, but I believe it comes because we don't teach children critical thinking anymore. We're not passing on. Valerie Nero saying hi. Hi, Valerie. We are not passing on the wisdom of critical thinking. We allow our children to speak their thoughts. Well, what do you think? Well, what would you like to do? Well, nobody taught them what they're supposed to like to do. And we all know, or we should know, I hope we know. I can't say should on what you should know. I have to watch that. But what's hopeful that we know, and that is that we have to think about it. We have to reason things out. So if your child come up 5 years old and say, I'm making this up, I don't want to go to school today. Is that what you want to do, little Johnny? And Auntie's Winning Wisdom, Valerie said, wow, just talking about that. Okay, little Johnny, you don't have to go today. I'll call the babysitter. And Barbara says, hello, Ezekiel. I'll call the babysitter and you don't have to go to school today. But I'm using that as an example where we will learn, oh, you're going to school today. You go to school to learn. It is important to learn. First of all, school started at home when we were coming up. Daddy, even after Mom died, Dad taught us in the home. We learned in the home. And we passed that on to our generations. All of our kids read early. My daughter went to kindergarten reading on, oh, that's my girl, Val. Oh, that's my friend. Girl, I got to talk to you. Call me. Get my number from Barbara. And so Dad, so we had to learn. You know, he explained why we went to school, why it was important to read, why what happened in school. And that's why I could tell people that I'm not going to use that in my lifetime. I was walking through, my goddaughter was with me, Gabby, and we were walking, and she said, Nanny, I said, well, what's going on? I'm failing geometry. I said, why are you failing geometry? Why are you failing geometry, Gabby? She said, oh, I'm failing geometry. I ain't going to use that in my life. blah, 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 blah. I said, but Gabby, didn't you tell me you want to be a designer? Oh, yeah. You were talking about clothes, Gabby? Yeah. So we went into the Joanne shop that happened to be right there. And we went in and I purchased a pattern. And I opened the pattern. And I said, okay, what shape is this? What shape is this? What shape is this? And she looked at me and she, like in the state of shock, like, what? I said, that's it. That's it, Gabby. This is geometry. How will you measure the size of each piece of fabric that you cut if you don't know geography? Oh, why do we have to write all of these papers? And I'm using school first for a moment because I want everybody to know and understand school is not only you get knowledge to flow on. Like I got Saturday. Saturday I got so much knowledge. These ladies have been in television. So that means when I had my meeting today, I was able to go back to add what I learned Saturday to become brilliant on all of this stuff. Things you wouldn't even think about. I went through training school at Comcast, production training, but you can't stop making yourself bigger in whatever it is that you want to do in life. And the first place to understand that is sometimes to stop and ask yourself why. Why did I make that decision? I wish I had known that before I made some big time life decisions in my life. The first time I got married, I've been married twice, okay? Marriage is a good thing. It's a wonderful thing. And if somebody came and found me who loved me and would take care of me and would be a husband to me, I believe that now that I've learned all that I've learned, I can be a wife. So I would do it again because it takes to be about this age before you get it together, right? But I got married because this is gonna sound crazy, but it's real. And it might help somebody who plan on getting married Saturday. So they'll make them think about what is my why. I got married because I had finished nursing school, I was making money, I wanted a big diamond ring, and I wanted a home. So I was dating this guy. I said I might as well marry him. I could get all of that stuff. Honey, I don't know if y'all remember way back in New Orleans when they had Houseman jewelry. That ring was almost too heavy for my hand, okay? It was gorgeous. And I was saying, I'm married. But everything else was a mess. And why? Because I did not think it through. I didn't take time to find out, what is marriage? What is this it's going to take for me not to just be married? Oh, I have the most valuable possession of my life from that marriage. I have the only child I have, a daughter. And I thank God for her. I thank God for that. I thank God for that diamond ring. Oh, that's my friend Sandra saying hi, y'all. She's from Texas. So I wish, I had that. I got all the things that I wanted. I'm making a point here. I had the husband. I could talk about I was married. I could have sex and not feel like I was in sin. I could, it was just all good. I had my baby who had a name. However, did you get that? I got everything I wanted. Hi, Tanisha. I got everything I wanted because I didn't really, first of all, understand that institution. And I didn't know what I wanted. Before I start breaking it down, I'm going to give another example. When you're sitting around and you're talking and somebody do something way crazy stupid, right? No, I'm talking about for real. I'm talking about for real, crazy stupid. So you ask, why did you do that? Don't try not to do that. Blah, 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 blah. And that person said, that's just me. That's who I am. And that's how I do it. But I promise you, if you go and ask that person why, that they can't answer that. Now, I'm not talking about who you are. Sometimes in situations, and I'm not being a racist, okay? Because every time you say something, anytime you say anything about being black, people say you're racist. But I'm talking about your temperament. If your temperament is that, hi Sigrid, how are you? Glad you're here. If your temperament is here and people come in and say, oh, but you shouldn't act like that, you should be here. If you have to leave who you are to be somebody your environment wants you to be, that's not cool. It's just not cool. It's not a good thing. Because you have to be who you are. And a lot of times when we get into an environment that they call integrated, it's really not integrated. They want us to act like them. Y'all come on, we're gonna all mingle together. Y'all come over here and act like us, meaning us as blacks. Act like us. If y'all don't act like us, if you go to a white church, because I'm gonna say a white church, it's not an integrated white church because I can't be myself. Look, baby, I lose it. I lose it for the Lord. And I have no shame in my game, baby. Get out my way, okay? But you can't go that into a supposedly integrated church and act like and be who you are before God. If it has to change who you are, that's different. But if it has to change how you act, how you present who you are, that's what we're working on today. I'm hoping everybody understands that. I can't see that good, Ezekiel, but I think Ezekiel is saying we are expected to be assimilated. And you know what, Ezekiel? I'm going to have to talk on it. I'm going to have to talk on, we never really had true integration. But that's a whole nother topic we're going to talk about. That's going to be good. So that's not what I mean. If your temperament, okay, my temperament is not, everybody who knows me know my temperament is not cool. I'm not some laid back chick that sit and smile. Sometimes I get so excited when I'm with my family. My sister's on here tonight. She could tell you, calm down, girl, calm down. That's not my temperament. And I'm saying it repeatedly so we can understand when we come to talk about what's your why. And a whole lot of things that will make everybody else make everybody's day a whole lot better if every day when you wake up, you ask yourself why. What is your why today? Why were you created? What were you created to create today? And we can only get to that if we know the why of why we exist. If I ask everybody now, I know everybody can't answer, but if I ask everybody now, what is your name? In your mind, I want you to, I don't want to say what is your name. I'm going to ask you a question and I want the answer to come into I want you to think about it, okay? So, who are you? Who are you? And then I would say, why did you say that? And in order to be a thinker, in order to, for me, in my mind, to me, to be a great thinker, especially you got to start with yourself. Why? Why did God create me to be on this earth? And that answers the why for who you are. And I understand, just to give you an idea of what I'm speaking about. I talk about myself a lot because I use me for an example because I don't want to get in trouble using somebody else for an example unless I know it's really way good, okay? I encourage people. And why I was good in mental health is because they said, oh, call Nurse Petite. She can talk anybody off the rooftop. But I never said, come down. I questioned them about their own greatness. Do you know how much greatness you are desiring to destroy? And that gets their attention. And then I begin to just say things that I know that's going to encourage and lift a person's soul. And that makes a person talk. And then I have a whole nother open door to talk about, to illuminate. I think that's what I want to use. Things about you that you're telling me. And that happens well with most people. But when it don't work, I say, let's grab them and put them on suicide watch. Because until they can get an idea of who they are, they won't have a reason to live. And the people who are the greatest on earth are what I know to be two things. People who have found out their reason for existing and conquering it in every area that they're in, or people who's learned how to lie and connive and make believe. And I can think of a person now, this person had no clue or no idea about anything around them, not their children, not their wife. If you could sit down and say, oh, if my daughter's so beautiful, if she wasn't my daughter, she would be, what person look at that? Somebody who don't know who they are. Because somebody who love who they are would love their seed in a whole another way. You wouldn't even look at your seed in that manner. When you're trying to create everything you see. You ever saw people like that? Girl, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know me here. And you're looking and say, you don't know you. If you think that would be how you would handle that, if you think that's how you would handle that, you just did the total opposite right before we walked over here. Because I walked over here to tell you about yourself. But when you tell me, well, you know me, then you don't know you. So no need of me wasting my time. No need of me wasting my time. And a big part of not getting to know yourself could be because you fear who you are. You see life, um, yes, Val said amen. You see life in a different way. You haven't lined up to what society um, say we ought to be as a people, or your ideal of who's a people. My daughter and I didn't understand this until she was a guest on my show. And we had mother-daughter relationship talk. Go back and listen to it. When she said, Mama, I didn't even know you if you liked me because you had this idea of me, but I knew who I was. I wasn't the person that you wanted me to be. And I was happy in who I am. So I wasn't your little princess queen that you was trying to create. And I said, wow, that's a good thing because that's why no matter what, she was strong in who she is, who she actually was. And that's why even as children, our children could grow up strong in who they are because we have very strong family bonding. She didn't only have to live with the opinion of me and how I dressed her. I bought all the fancy clothes, she was all dressed up and she had her shorts and top. I thought a little girl should be dressed up every Sunday. My little queen should be all dressed up from head to toe. Today was Sunday, right? Well, when I dropped off to my sister and went to work or whatever, most of the time it was work if I dropped her off. She had to stay miserable, dressed up like a little queen if I was off. But if I dropped her with my sister, she had the clothes she wanted to put on. My baby got dirty outside, you know what? But I said that to say it's very good. So if you have children or young people that you have influence in their lives, teach them to know who they are. Teach them how to make good decisions. Something as simple as if they're 10 years old and you give them $50, don't let them just go away with the $50. Teach them about money. Look, I have a friend who speaks to people with money, really money enough to run the country, okay? We can't stand our sisters and brothers, but guess what? They have family wealth. The people she speaks to, they teach wealth because it's family wealth. It's not one person with money. This is the family wealth. This is the family's money. Then they taught from young not only how to have money because you was born in money, how to respect money, how to make money your friend, how to make more money because you never can get enough. You can always get some more. And how this is family wealth. When you meet the Marriotts, I'm just saying the Marriott because I just made my reservation. Um, when you see the Marriott, that's all the Marriotts, all the cousins, all the grandchildren. We can't put $10 together. Come on now. Because they teach them from young how to think about money. And wealth is not money. Wealth is what you do with money. They teach them, well, you want to go to college? What you going to college for? How much tuition gonna cost going to college? What's your major? How soon will you be making money? And is the money worth the money you're gonna make worth the money you're gonna get back from college? Where we just think, oh, it's a good idea, it's a big idea. Our child's going to college. Oh, he got into John Hopkins. That's not a cool thing if you're paying every one of your dollars for, or he got loans and he gonna have loans till he's 9,900 years old, trying to pay the loans back. You didn't make a way to make college pay off for you. And guess what? When those people with money, their children in college, and they get to their sophomore or maybe halfway their junior year, and they're not nowhere to accomplish to make some money, they don't spend no more money on college. Most of the people with money didn't even graduate from college. Those billionaires and millionaires, their children had to come out. Come on, you're gonna make some money with the family. You're gonna make more money over here. We can't have you draining the family's wealth. All the Marriott money gonna be gone. Paying for your tuition. No, you're not making no money over here. Come over here and we're gonna teach you how to work this. And you're gonna continue to live comfortably. They don't have no bills. Because they think I was sitting at work one day and they said, oh, you shop, you ever put your money on, you don't have to pay for it all right now, you can pay it in 5 payments. I said, no, I don't do that. If I can't afford it, I don't get it. And one person, she said, oh, I have the money, I just don't want to do it. What sense that make? How much money these people making off of you? And then it's a purse. How many purses you have in your pocketbooks you have in your closet? But you're gonna get this one on a breakdown payment. We have to teach our children how to think about wealth. We were at a party and we were saying, my friend, she lived very well, very nice. I'm so proud of her. Look, I always go to the house just to take pictures. It says my friend is beautiful, okay? So then this a young guy was saying, oh, we didn't live like this when we grew up. My mama had china, but we couldn't touch it. So the analysis in the room, even off of the lady who teach finances, was they didn't have it. They were broke. Everybody don't have those assets. I said, yes, they do. It was the way they was thinking about it. They had it. They had china. It was in the cabinet. Nobody couldn't touch it. Look, I eat off china every day because that's what I like. What's too good for you? We have to rethink how we do things. I remember being in school, and I went to the University of New Orleans, and this person had money. They could have went anywhere they wanted, but for the education he needed, he didn't need to go to Tulane. He went to UNO. I got in a conversation with the guy, had way more money than all of us in there that was my friends that I knew, okay? This dude wore the same jeans every day, and he changed shirts. He said, I'm not spending all that money to come sit in and learn. I come to get something. That was in the 70s. He said, I come to get something. I didn't come to give anything. I uniformed me up. I have 5 shirts and 1 pair of jeans. And I'm coming here every day to get what I come here to get. I will not be distracted. But only a person, the examples that I gave, only a person who know who they are, know their why, can make decisions like that. If we raise our children to know their why, they're going to know why they're going to college, what they're going to do in college, how they're going to work it out, because then they've already worked it out along the way. You know, I talked to, I don't remember who I was talking to. I was talking to, and their child wanted to go to college because they wanted to be this, and I'm talking about my friends. Yep, we doing it. And the child knew what they wanted to be, so they started preparing for, or I was talking to my sister about her grandson. Well, he already told him no, he don't wanna go straight to that. He need his education. He's gonna stop right here because this is not what he wanna do for a life, for a living. He's gonna play football to get him to where he wanna be. He's not in it just for that, like they expect our children to be. So that means this child at 16, 17 years old, Lord, they're 17 already, Jesus. They're just our little babies and they're 17 already. 17 years old, he already know I am on a journey. I'm on a journey. I'm making my path because I don't want to have to be trying to knock down walls, looking for where I'm going, or get in the middle of my forest like the Israelites in the wilderness, just looking for some place to go. But that starts when they're young. But it's not too old when you get old. Anybody with me? Oh, Barbara Dozier said nothing is too good for me, and Barbara, I have the pictures to go to prove it. So, so anyway, that was fun. That's our thing, y'all. But it's not too late if you have it. It's not too late if you have it. Because when I started going to secretarial school, I know I wanted to be a nurse. So I got out of school, went to college to be a nurse. I went to take all my prerequisites. And then my cousin wanted to do secretarial work, right? Why I quit nursing school to go over here to secretarial school with me? She said, come go to Meadows Drawing with me. Okay. That was one of the stupidest decisions I made in my life. But sometimes, you guys, life will take you through some trials. Every child don't have a life where they're taught to make decisions. Their survival. Where are we going to get food today? They're taught that it's okay to go steal from somebody else to survive. Well, how else they want him to survive? For real? It cost him his life. Breaking in somebody's house to get their stuff so he could eat. And then the family said, how else did they expect for him to survive? For real? I heard this young girl say, well, she was younger than me. We were at work and sitting at the desk, and somebody said something about they didn't have no food. She wasn't from America. She was from another country. She said, this is America. You can always get something to eat in America. I was like, if America's not known for anything else, God, I appreciated that statement. I appreciated that. That means the world see us until now when we threw away all of that food. Because the man, oh, I'm not going there. But anyway, if we're not known for anything else in the country. But I'm saying that some children don't even have food to eat. You can't think properly if your brain is not nourished. Some children worry, will we have a place to stay? Will we have a bed when we get home? Or will somebody would have sold it for drugs? We have so much to be thankful for. So everybody is not at the age 17 and can think, no, this is what I'm gonna do for my life because this is what I really want for my life. I'm not doing that. I'm not. I understand you dingling those dollars in front of me. I could probably get almost $1 million contract. He's very good at what he do, but I can get a contract that'll take care of me and my parents and my brother. But I'm not gonna do that because that's not who I am. Do you know there's many grown people? Somebody can dingle $1 in front of them that can say, no, keep your money. That made me so proud of I was already proud of him, but that made me so proud of him. But there's children that, Lord, if I do this, my family can eat. Well, I can sit here and say, well, you just have to believe God. You just have to believe God to feed your family. But if you've been a Christian any amount of time, sometimes your faith is like, God, I'm believing you, but sometimes this looks ridiculous. If we're going to tell the truth, sometimes that looks ridiculous. So for somebody who don't have the faith, somebody who's been hungry all their lives, somebody who's had to eat out of garbage cans, or went to the back of the restaurant when they was throwing out the food so they could get the food that was thrown away for their family quick before it hit the bottom of the trash can too long. They don't have the energy and their spirit have not been fed. They have not lived past the point where they understand everything that pleasures your soul is not good for your spirit. They could only see, we're going to get to eat. We're going to get a real mattress with sheets on a pillow, on a bed. And Barbara says so much to be thankful for. And you're right, Barbara. You're so absolutely right. So because a lot of us are ministers, a lot of us are people who help people. How do you help somebody in that situation? Sometimes they just have to do what they have to do to make it. But if God has blessed you that you know them, don't bring them some money unless it's going to feed them for right now and they know. That's not what we bring them. We bring them the intelligence to think, okay, you have to do this. Don't go out and buy 15 cars. Don't go out and do all of this extravagant stuff. Buy a nice home, take the money, put some on the side for your school, and invest your money. At no age is a person too old to learn to think. And sometimes when they do something, the other day somebody I know did something, grown person, they did something, and they called me crying, all upset. Look, I did this now. It's gonna cost me this and cost me this. Shut up crying. Let's fix it. Now, I know that sounds hard, but you know, shut up crying. Crying, you can't think. You cannot think when you fell apart and you all upset. Shut up that crying. Now, what's your problem? Let me show you. See, I said, I didn't ask you to see a piece of paper. You need to be thinking about how you are going to fix this. Because you did it. But you know how long ago? I said today. Because you did it so much in the past. So today when you committed this crime, you were stopped and now you have to pay for all the crime you committed. So today, you did not stop to think today. So shut up crying and think. Now that may seem harsh. But that's what happens when you don't think. Somebody else end up having to pay the price for it. You didn't think, so you got to call somebody else to pay the price for you not having critical thinking. And a lot of times people won't even help you unless innocent people are involved. But I made that person think through their solution themselves. And some things that happen, we have to decide if we want to even put our minds or our thoughts on that at all. Some things just don't deserve our time, energy, and effort to think about. The other day, this might be a bad example for some of you. The other day when this man killed this man at the college, everybody fell apart about it. But how many people know that 2 young boys in Mississippi were hung from a tree like it was 1959 on yesterday? And in my heart, I believe that they're trying to get us back for that man dying. We didn't have anything to do with that. That was y'all killing y'all. I promise you, I didn't even stop to think about it. But it troubled my soul when those 2 boys got hung. Because all I could think about, and Barbara, this is when you're going to have to teach us how to pray. All I could think about was, God, our children just wait to grow up and go to college? Is this the world that we're loosing our children on again? That's my concern. Did that man's life have value? Of course it did. If God created his life, it had value. Did this 21-year-old guy, child, going to college, trying to get a life? I can't speak on his personal life, but nothing came out that said that he spoke hurt. He 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 went out and looked for hate, taught people how to hate, influenced people to hate. None of that was around this 19-year-old. He was an innocent child that was caught up somewhere, hung from the tree. A teacher got shot in Chicago on a rampage of shooting outside of the school in Chicago. Barely made the news. Barely made the news. Families more than likely trying to pay for college. Can't even pay for the funeral. But millions, almost billions was raised. I don't have time to think about that. It was just like my sample of that was, I was at work the other night. I was working at a place that I go, it's my day job. You know, if you have a nurse, they have an app. You can go say, I'll work there tonight. Even if you never worked there before, you can say, of course you're putting your license and they have your license and everything. And then once you pass all the paperwork, then they start telling you places you can go work. So I said, I'll go work there tonight. Dang, I pressed it. But I used to press them a lot, okay? So, they loved me. They just loved me long as I was doing a nurse. I'm going to tell you, you're never going to get me on my nursing skills, okay? But we had some young black boys who were in school, who came to work as nursing assistants to make money to pay for their schooling. And they were taking care of these older, I really sound racist tonight, I'm sorry, these older white women. So I was in the room with the guy when he turned one lady. Well, you know, a man is strong. So he turned to this way and she started screaming, ow, ow, ow. I turned around and looked. He had just turned over and he said, well, what's wrong? But I'm looking, there was nothing wrong. He said, well, I'm turning you over so I can clean you. And she said, well, nobody ever did it like that before. For real. So that was before 11 o'clock. So that was one shift. Another shift came on after 11. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We sitting at the desk. The supervisor passed by. And so the night female black nursing assistant started saying, oh, Miss So-and-so made a complaint today. She complained that blah, 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 very negative on a young guy. I was like, why are you doing that? Well, they said we're supposed to tell whatever. I said, you weren't here. You may have still been asleep. Because that supposedly happened before I came. And I was in the room when he was changing the other lady screaming out, and nothing was wrong. Why would we want to destroy this young man's future? If she had a problem, why are you carrying that story? Evidently, she waited for you to come. So I was labeled, um, I don't know, I guess, I don't know what I was labeled as, but they didn't like it no more. Well, what about when you gave the speech in Las Vegas on women of color? I said, I did. I gave it, and I'm very proud that I gave that speech in Las Vegas on women of color. But I was still a black woman giving that speech in Las Vegas on women of color. I said, you know what? I don't care if I can't come back here. Y'all, it's an app. All I gotta do is press a button. I can go wherever I wanna go. But I know one thing, if y'all destroying these young black males' lives, instead of not hiring them if you don't want them to work here, don't bring them here and destroy their lives. How many people y'all don't call the police on since I've been here? They didn't like that. They didn't like that I spoke up for them. And they had to remove the voice that was speaking up for them. And I didn't have a chance to tell them what happened because they made me a do not return. But I haven't missed a shift yet. So the point is not me working. The point is we have to stand up for life. We have to know who we are. And we have to walk in our purpose. I will always defend the underman because that's who I was called to be. I never questioned one time in my mind, should I shut up? Because I knew I was good as long as I'm walking in and understanding and knowing my why. So I just thought it was important tonight, to come and talk about our why. And if you really want to know, if you know yourself, begin to ask you why. And if you don't have the answer, it don't mean you didn't know. It means that you didn't think about it yet. Because sometimes we do things and you might think, why did I do that? Or why did I say that? And I especially do it with men. You know, my dad was I hung out with my dad, and he was a big flirt. And I learned how to flirt from my dad, you know? So sometimes I'll say something and say, girl, why did you say that? But I know where it come from once I start thinking about it, you know? So begin to think about that. Begin to think of your why and understand and know when you think of it and you figure out your why, you might need to tweak some things, you might need to change some things, because my whys then are not my whys now. If I got married today, my why would be totally different from the times that I did it before. I think marriage is beautiful, and I definitely would do it again. And I would not only make sure I understood my why, but the person that I'm joining with understand their why. Because if you understand your why and you can see things that answers your why in somebody else, and they don't know why their why is or what their why is, it doesn't make a difference. You'll never be able to please that person because they don't know. I asked the girl out in the relationship, she was talking to me about her relationship. I said, how can you be mad with him? He's trying to make things work with you. He wants to make you an honorable woman. And you're doing all of this crazy stuff, but you don't even know why. You're angry with him and you don't know why. So it was evident to me that her guy knew his why. And her guy knew her why. But it was countless. The train wasn't on the track because she had no idea. And then I started questioning her about some of the things she was upset about. And she was lost herself. I said, that's because you don't know who you are. You don't know why and what you need and want, but you're with somebody expecting them to do it. So think about that too. While we're thinking about our why. Don't join business, especially in business. Don't join why you want this business. And if the answer is to make money, skip them. But if they don't have the why, they're not going to have the drive. That's in personal relationships, business relationships, even in acquaintances. I sure enjoyed you all tonight. I think I'm a little over time, but I hope if you have any questions, if you have any ideas, you want to come on and be a guest, that you have some things that can make us a better place. The new American Revolution is changing ourselves, changing hearts and minds. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you again soon.